The greatest of all time, Tom Brady, Patrick Mahomes. Woo! But Travis Kelce's about to enter himself into the greatest tight end of all time.
Tony Gonzalez.
Think about it. Tony Gonzalez played for 17 seasons, no rings. Shannon Sharp played for what? 12, 13,
you smoking the whole network.
3 rings. No.
Antonio Gates?
I'm just saying, Travis Kelce is about to start inching himself into the conversation. Okay. He ain't going to trump Shannon Sharp. He ain't going to trump Unc. He ain't going to trump Tony Gonzalez just yet. But watch out. Don't sleep on Killer Trav.
You ain't lying.
Okay, my second storyline that we got to talk about. Who gonna guard Tyreek Hill, Marcellus?
Air.
Somebody. Air and hope.
The atmosphere.
That's the question everybody got to ask. Carlton Davis, he was lined up against Tyreek Hill. I'm going to talk about it more next block. 9 times. Tyreek Hill, 9 for 9, 211 yards and 3 touchdowns. So the question is, for the Buccaneers, who is going to stop that man? You can't put one person on him, so you better hope that 2 will work. But my number one storyline is a storyline that's nearest and dearest to my heart.
Let me hear.
Let's talk about the potential win for diversity when you talk about the Bucs coaching staff. Bruce Arians, he said in the offseason, he said, my philosophy is to create head coaches. Now, we talk about the lack of minority head coaches in the NFL. Yeah. Well, one way to do it is to slap the NFL with success when it talks about diversity. 3 minority staff leaders as far as special teams, offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator, 2 women assistants on the staff. Buccaneers already being here, win for diversity. Yeah. But if they win, huge win for diversity.
Yeah, people haven't checked out the photo of the coaching staff. Yeah, it looks like our show a little bit. And one of them leading that is the offensive coordinator and my former teammate in Byron Leftwich. Tremendous talent, tremendous career, even better as a person leading this offense. No coincidence, Tom Brady hits the ground running because this guy is one of them in charge. All right, let me start off with my top 3 storylines for the Super Bowl. And number 3, what about home field advantage in the Super Bowl? With a question mark. You know why? Usually you don't even see a team playing a home game in the Super Bowl. But Tom Brady changed that. But Tom Brady, better record on the road this year than at home. Tom Brady and this team scored more points away from Tampa and Tampa allowed more points per game on the road than at home. Is there really going to be a home field advantage for you? We're going to check it out and see. Let's go with number 2, the coaching matchup. Oh, Arians going out there right now. Bruce, you're trying to take that step up. Just like my man Andy did last year. Remember, he was the greatest coach that couldn't win, and he finally made that leap. Can Arians do the same thing? He has Super Bowl experience as an assistant, but can he take that leap? But my number 1 is Tom Brady's gap year. No, he's not going back to college with his old butt. But this is a gap year in terms of, hey, Patrick Mahomes, you're trying to, as you said, inch your way into a GOAT conversation? Well, let me put a little gap between where you are and where you trying to go, because Brady, in his first year in Tampa Bay, already has him in the Super Bowl, already has 6 rings to Patrick Mahomes' 1. If Patrick Mahomes loses this Super Bowl, a little bit more of a gap in that GOAT
I got a question for you, big dog. Let's go back to storyline number 2, the coaching matchup.
Let's go.
Are you not concerned about Bruce Arians' no risk it, no biscuit mantra coming into this game when you really aren't trying to risk it against the Chiefs?
You know what's interesting? I read an article about Tom Brady and his approach this year, as we've seen it in different stages. So after the loss to the Kansas City Chiefs, they haven't lost a game yet. Think about it. They had the bye week, and they came to an understanding. 1, we have to use the play action more often. 2, we need more pre-snap motion. And 3, the pseudo punt, as they call it. Basically, on 3rd down, if Tom Brady is on his side of the field, he's going to launch one. And guess what? It's a 33% ball. It's not a 50-50. He's like, either we're going to catch it, it's going to be an incomplete, or guess what? They might intercept it. It's a punt. We just took them all the way down in field position. It happened twice in the Green Bay game. There's a different mentality. It's not Jameis Winston's risk it for a biscuit. It's the GOAT out there risking it for the biscuit. That'll do it for our top Super Bowl storylines. Coming up, we'll have more on Super Bowl 55. Can the Chiefs give the Bucs an L as they did earlier this season? We'll tell you if they should be a concern for Tampa Bay. That's next, man, right there. But being real, guys climb the mountain different ways. Some guys are chasing the goal in terms of Hall of Fame status, which your numbers put you in that conversation. And some guys like, look, I'm just going to run as far as I can, and then when I'm done, I'll look back and see what I've accomplished. Talk about you in terms of thinking of the Hall of Fame or your future goals. You put yourself in that position yet? How do you feel?
In the offseason, I allow myself to do so. During season, I'm just worried about the next game. The next game is the most important game because it is the next game. Offseason, I look back like 7.5 sacks, in my career, 94.5 sacks, 51 batted balls. I consider myself anything but just a pass rusher. I think of myself as a run-stopping, complete defensive end. I play first, second, third, fourth down. In the offseason, I get a watch film, break down the 1,000 snaps that you play during the year and really get after what I need to improve upon for the next year. When it comes down to it, I'm always just trying to elevate play. So whatever gets me there. And then whenever I walk away from this game, hopefully, we all don't get to walk away from this game on our own accord, but hopefully I get to do so. When that time comes, I'll look back at the career and see what happens.
I know you think you're a Hall of Famer because I think you're a Hall of Famer with those kind of numbers, certainly looking up high from where I am standing right now. But, man, a lot of guys miss the boat in terms of thinking of next in the now. And you have a podcast, an amazing podcast, where not only do you have tremendous content, but tremendous understanding of the game and the game of life. Tell us about your podcast and how you're liking that experience.
Man, I got to team up with my brother. My brother from another mother. We came in together 2011 draft class, Mark Ingram, Alabama's first Heisman Trophy winner. All the accolades, Pro Bowler himself. We walk in and, it's big trust levels. So, we got to just, me and him wrap this offseason, was like, let's put something together. It's probably because I just missed my dog. You know what I'm saying? He left us 2 years ago to go to Baltimore. I was like, man, we got to do something together so we can always keep our off seasons right. And do together the Trust Levels podcast and just, started chopping it up with our friends. What's better than a podcast when it's not, when it's not syndicated? It feels it's authentic. So as you know what I'm saying, when you have a personal relationship with the guy you're working with, it's so much more fun.
What makes your podcast different than the other ones? Because, the market's saturated right now with a lot of conversations. What makes y'all's conversation so unique, so special?
Between me and him, I don't know who else have played together for 8 years, lived together for a little bit. When I first got to New Orleans, the ability to rely on each other, feed off each other's energy. It's not something that was created or fabricated. This is something that's been real since day one. So you feel that authentic vibe.
Respect. Well, Cam, appreciate you, brother.
I got one more, big dog, because I got a connection to Cam Jordan. Obviously, it's well documented. You're a second-generation NFL football player. Your father, tremendous player, Ivy Leaguer. There you go. Let them know about the Ivy League. Representing.
Big legacy five.
And what's great about that, as we're going to see Patrick Mahomes, who is a second-generation professional athlete, just some of the nuggets that you were able to acquire over the years from your father and that experience, and now you out there doing it great as well.
Man, Pops was a workout warrior. He won, the off-season belts where, you do the conditioning tests and you're that vaunted, heralded, workhorse. I won those too. You know what I'm saying? Like when you're growing up and you watch, I watched my dad, even after he retired when I was like 5, I watched him 3-4 times a week, hit the gym, go running every Saturday. We're out there really grinding. Like he instilled that grind into us long before we knew what grinding was. You know what I'm saying? Like when we thought we were just out there having fun and we're out here running, posts, digs, everything about the game of football long before we even started playing football. By the time we got to it, our love for the game was so strong, so deep. We had that edge. That mental fortitude. Like we knew every Saturday after chores, we was out there getting it in. Like we were going to, be running, conditioning, whatever it was, working on some sort of hand-eye coordination. It was just, and watching him do everything that we do. If he never really asked us to do anything that he wasn't willing to do. So again, that hard work that he put out there is what we grew up watching. So it was just that much easier to transition into wanting to be the best and wanting to be the hardest worker.
Man, I love to hear that story, man. The kid comes from old money. Boy, the kid has his own money right there. Gotta respect.
They wasn't making scratch, bro. Like, he made